Blog Talk Radio.
President recognizes Mr. Adams of Massachusetts.
Objects of the most stupendous magnitude. Measures which will affect the lives of millions, born and unborn, are now before us. We must expect a great expense of blood to obtain them. But we must always remember that a free constitution of civil government cannot be purchased at too dear a rate, as there is nothing on this side of Jerusalem of greater importance to mankind. My worthy colleague from Pennsylvania has spoken with great ingenuity and eloquence. He has given you a grim prognostication of our national future, but where he foresees apocalypse, I see hope. I see a new nation ready to take its place in the world. Not an empire, but a republic. And a republic of laws, not men. Gentlemen, we are in the very midst of revolution. The most complete, unexpected, and remarkable of any in the history of the world. How few of the human race have ever had an opportunity of choosing a system of government for themselves and their children. I am not without apprehensions, gentlemen. But the end we have in sight is more than worth all the means. I believe, sirs, that the hour has come. My judgment approves this measure, and my whole heart is in it. All that I have, all that I am, and all that I hope in this life, I am now ready to stake upon it. While I live, let me have a country. A free country.
All right, everybody. Joseph Gibson podcasting here from Greensboro, North Carolina. The real Greensboro, North Carolina, not the fake one. 8:34 p.m. on the East Coast here. Special announcements here, of course. We're going to have some very, very important next couple podcast shows before I get down to business here. I want to make this announcement that you're all welcome to join and listen. And that's what most of you will be doing if you want to listen. And you're going to get the facts. You're going to understand what is going to be happening and transpiring. I'm going to have people from the military, active military, I'm going to have people from the Republic. I'm going to have people from very important, I guess you could say, behind-the-scenes people coming onto this podcast and the next couple of podcasts. Most likely the next podcast, where I'm lining it up as we speak. And you're going to get told the facts, like I've done a couple times in the past, years ago, and little tidbits of information, but you're going to get told exactly what's going to happen and how things are going to play out. No, this isn't Nostradamus. There is no psychic fairy tale tarot card readers or, or your prostitutes out there trying to hook up and have a dating site like the other networks out there or anything else. No, you're going to get the cold, hard facts. You're going to get all intel. You're going to have people on here that are going to tell you exactly how things are going to play out in the next 2 months, 4 months, 6 months to a year to 2 years, and what's going to happen here to the Republic for which it did once stand, America. It's going to be hard for a lot of you to accept that information, but it's going to pan out, and a lot of you won't accept it and you won't understand it. And that's okay. You go to your FEMA, whatever, your detention camps or whatever you got, or you go to your Walmarts, wherever you got, you just go ahead and cooperate with the system. You just keep doing what you're doing, keep selling each other out, keep screwing each other over, and you're going to get exactly what you deserve because we already know what's going to happen. Trust me. So that's coming up in the next few shows. I've contacted a few people. They contacted me in a way and said, hey, we need to talk. It's kind of time for you to, hang up the podcast show and, move on to other things and do different things. So that's why also this is probably going to be one of the last few shows that I am going to be doing for understanding the times in which you live today. So you're going to get the facts. And how it plays out is really up to you. Now, whether or not you change the future based upon what you do today and tomorrow, that's what happened yesterday is always open for discussion and debate, but it's not open for criticism, I guess you could say, because what happened yesterday happened, and you can't change that. You cannot go back in time, and we've discussed that so many times on this podcast to understand the times in which you live today, and many people don't get that. Now, you go off to your other little private social media networks there. I've done that. I've been on, 14 different social media networks over the past couple months. One of them I promoted on this podcast, that Zoom platform there, okay? Total anarchy. Nothing gets achieved. You've got people out there named John Son calling in, talking about they're going to arrest all the politicians and this and that. You've got, the girl that runs the platform there. She's supposed to be running the platform, but Mark Johnson runs the platform actually most of the time. He's there all day long. Why is he there all day long? I don't know. From the same room, having this little Zoom meeting thing, and they're reeling people in, and when they couldn't reel me in, now they're trying to reel the Mandelicons in and stuff like that, So, well, I've checked out a lot of these people, did some background checks on them, and I'm not going to give out any specific names. A lot of the things that they say and what they're about is not who they really are or what they really represent, and that's truth. Okay? And if any of you want to talk privately about that, I will provide you with any information you request because I have all 15 of them right here on my desk, right here, all their files, everything I have right here, okay? So they're not who they say they are. Not every single one of them now. I'm going to say there's about 15 of them that have been on there over the few months that have checked in and listened and have said things that are not true at all. At all. Period. End of story. You want a copy of it? Fine. I'll put the freaking FedEx envelope in the mail tomorrow. Go to your courthouse, whatever, look it up yourself. They are a bunch of suckers, most of these people, especially that John Son, okay? And it's not a freaking dating site either, all right? we've been playing jokes on them now for a while, people calling in and listening and everything, but that's irrelevant. We'll see who we get onto the call queue here tonight and see who wants to call in and speak. But there are other also platforms out there, Blog Talk Radio, the NSM. We went over that there. Actually, the NSM, we've got three of those people. Yeah, provocateurs, undercover, FBI. Okay. Blog Talk Radio is filled with these trolls out there. I knew this when I first signed up. I was like, look at these guys. I'm sitting there watching them, I said, let me start my own show. And sure enough, as the time has gone on, they've called me and they call my cell phone I got here, right? They think, they're threatening me and they're scaring me. They're gonna come kill me, and this and that. It's so stupid. The FBI, folks, has a whole entire wing, an entire floor dedicated to internet crimes. And what they do is they spend this all the time, every single day, and they take their time. And they single you out one by one, and they analyze everything you said. Everything you say has been recorded. And then you got the other people that have been arrested and picked up, and they what they do is they reel these people in, on the internet to say things they don't really want to say, and to get their sentences lighter or whatnot. And it's just one big fiasco and game. But what everything that I've said though, when I try to interact with these people, is 100% truth. I try to tell them, look, this is how you have to do things if you really want to go after the system. This is what you have to do to try to change things. And they don't get it. They don't understand it. I listen, John Son was on the, matter of fact, John Son was on Zoom about 45 minutes ago, was it? I think it was. I don't know. My friend in another state there passed me through, actually. And I was listening to this guy. That guy, Joe Gibson, he comes on here, and it's hilarious, man. I'm listening to it. And then the girl there, Sarah, right, she's agreeing with everything that he has to say. Like, but she hates this guy in another conversation with somebody else, okay? And she's agreeing with everything this guy says. Yep, that's what he does. Yep, him and his brother. Yep, him and his brother. Not really my brother. But they think he is because that's what they were told he was. All right, but anyway, that's what he does. And then they're talking about this guy Leroy that calls in, in which they know it's not really his name Leroy, but they call his real name Leroy, right? It's so hilarious. This guy, I posted up a video, and you should hear this guy. If anyone with educated mind whatsoever, these people don't really have educated mind. They're lost, okay? And I understand that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not trying to put people down because they didn't go through all the courses and all this stuff and are educated fully and understand what's going on. But this guy, John, he lies to himself in the same conversation, and the people that are listening agree with him. He's got them believing it, and he starts going forward more and more, and he starts pushing that narrative more and more, and he's getting excited within his own voice. The girl, that video they were talking about with this video, he's talking about a video with a black girl with a cop that handcuffs the girl. What transpired actually, this is a YouTube video out there, and this is part of the propaganda. It's provocatoring to divide and conquer society, okay? But anyway, John Son don't know this. This is a YouTube video that he saw that popped up through his, little algorithms and stuff like that, because that's what they do, folks. All right? And he saw this, and he got angered by it. And I knew this already, because I watch his Facebook page, actually, just because, the guy, he's a little scary in a way, so I kind of keep an eye on him. And he's very weird, very strange guy. He's been on here a lot of times. I let him on, actually. He reached out to me and came onto this podcast so many times in the past, and I let him do his, people's revolution or whatnot. Is he's going to arrest the government, blah, blah, which totally violates everything. He's in there. He's talking about this video, and he doesn't know the video, who created the video, who produced the video. He doesn't understand that there's freaking 2.5 hours of it that's uncut, okay, that's edited, and and they don't get this, but that's what society wants you to believe. That's what these people want you to believe, and they play that narrative to divide the people against the race thing and the government thing. And I don't want to analyze the entire video, but it's a girl that gets handcuffed, and the cop slams her down to the ground. Well, he slams her to the ground basically because she's biting his thigh. Okay, she bites his thigh and rips it like freaking. Her name is Kenesha Williams, actually. She's actually 17 years old. She's in high school, and she actually had a gun on her in the school, and she pulled out the gun, and they managed to like subdue her and blah 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 and whatnot. Just to make a long story short, and they get her in handcuffs, and they were escorting her to another police car to get her to take her to jail. She brought a gun to school because she was going to kill a rival gang member. She's in a gang. Okay. Oh, what gang was she in? Oh Lord, it was an African American gang. I don't have that here, but she was in a gang, and she was going to kill another female actually that was in her classroom. She was going to shoot the whole classroom up just to kill this female. That's why the cop had her in handcuffs, Johnson. But you see, this is what they do to you. This is how they play you like suckers on social media, but you don't get it. You don't understand that. But anyway, so the cop has her in handcuffs, you see. And what they do is the deep state, what they do is they take this scenario, these cases out there, these things that happen, that they already know, they're going to put them on YouTube and on the internet and in the movies and Hollywood and everything else, and they twist your mind around and make you believe another scenario that this is just some poor little black girl that's getting slammed to the ground by a big, bad police officer because, the government has authority over you. No. That guy actually probably saved a whole entire classroom that day, probably 20 kids. All right? Well, anyway, right before he gets slammed, Leroy caught it, actually. He caught it, Leroy. That's not really his name, by the way. He actually caught it. The video was edited, and when we were on the Zoom network the other night, right? And we're talking about it, and we were like, look, they just edited the video. You can see where it smudges out, and you can see how how it's pasted out and everything. And this guy just starts flipping out. And he starts with the threatening and everything like this. But these are the alternative media. The point of it being is these are the alternative media outlets out there that are enticing you. And then they're talking about this remonstrous stuff, on the Zoom thing. This, and I'm trying to tell these people, look, man, a fee schedule. They're going to do a fee schedule. Okay. You do a fee schedule. You go right ahead. You keep right on doing that. You go right ahead. And I'm going to tell you right now, and if any of you are out there, you can call in and you can trash me and talk shit about me all you want and motherfuck me or whatever the hell you want to do. But I'm going to tell you something right now. You keep doing what you're doing. I'm letting you know right now. You're about 9 to 18 months away from a federal prison term. Okay? Right on doing it. You keep thinking that the mortgage list. I get the banks print the money, the fractional reserve banking. I get all that. I've went over this a million times. I studied the Federal Reserve Act. I understand. They were doing a video on the same network, actually, the other night. And I was like, you're talking about the Glass-Steagall Act that was repealed. And they're yelling at me, no, it wasn't, no, it wasn't. And then finally the girl, I think it was the same girl, Sarah, she's like, yeah, you're right, they repealed that. But, yes. Because, look, I've been over all this. This is the same crap, man. You're not going to win. You keep doing your paperwork. You're wasting time. That's what you're doing. But they don't get it. Doesn't matter. They just don't get it. They don't understand. They're not going to get it. You could preach knowledge all you want, how much you want to these people, and they're not going to get it. And that's just the way. And then we get into the Bible, and people want to start a big argument about that. Look, man, freaking the tablets, the manuscripts are there for your reading. How many times have you traveled to Rome? How many times have you traveled to Israel? How many times have you went and looked at the actual manuscripts? How many times have you sat before a professor who can give you actual concrete evidence of what is true and what is not? Is everything truth? Yes, everything is up there for what? Interpretation. But at the same time, there has to be a common denominator at the bottom here that we can all agree upon, and we are not agreeing on nothing. That is the fact on that. And I don't go for that crap because, I believe that we are a moral, righteous people, and without that type of foundation to build upon, we are doomed. Simple as that. Now, I got a bunch of people on the call screen here tonight, so I'm going to get to everybody. Press number 1. I'm going to give you a chance. But before I get to everybody, I want you to know something right now. I'm not going to turn this into a big shouting match tonight because this is going to be probably one of the last podcasts I do. And then I go off and I move on to something else. You won't know me no more. Okay? I'll be off the grid because I already know that. I know what to do. I understand all this. And I've tried to help you. I've tried to teach you. I've tried to do the best I can, but you won't listen. So what do you do when people won't listen? You got to walk away. Turn your back. Simple as that. That's the way it's got to be. Go ahead. I'm going to go to the first caller here, 386 first. We're going to move up down the line. But first person that shouts out a turn or tries to talk or yell over me or criticize me, I will hang up and you're gone. Don't come back. Go ahead. Where are you? 386. You want to go first? 386, I think. You were first. Well, we got about 30 of you on the line here. Hang on. No, 10 of you. Hang on. All right, everybody, hang on. Let me hang up on these. Oop. You're gone. All right, you're gone. Private callers, you're not getting on. All right, 386. You want to come on? 386. Go ahead. 386.
Oh yes. Hey Joe. I want to commend you on taking the initiative and having your own show. By no means, I mean, you know. And another thing I wanted to ask you was who done that introduction that was talking that in the introduction to your thing, and then whatever.
What are you talking about?
You're
talking about the introduction to what? The show? That was John Adams. Somebody playing the John Adams. Actually, that's what that was. That's the actual archived historical documentation of when the founders were in their meeting, drafting up the Constitution and whatnot. You know.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry for asking stupid questions. Okay, I just wanted to know who.
No, you can ask dumb questions. You can ask dumb questions. Just be smart. You just want smart answers, right?
No, I do not. But what I do want is to have a good show because I commend you, Joe. You're doing a hell of a job. It takes a lot of balls to do what you're doing. And you know people's going to criticize you before this is all said and done, right? I'm not here to do that. I wanted to commend you on that opening speech. And no, sir, I did not know that was John Quincy Adams. And not only that, I'm wondering who. I want to know who's voting this year for any presidency. And not only that, I want to know if they have a fake Bible, because doesn't the president?
Okay, all right. You're asking me a bunch of questions there. I got a lot of people to get to, Florida. Okay, just calm down, take it easy. I will get back to you, but the fake Bible there, maybe we'll get to that. I don't know, but I appreciate the kind words what you said to me. So what I'm going to do is bring on the next caller, 419. I see 432, 614, 812, 111. Nope, you're off. 11. Nope, you're off. 908. Everyone will get a chance here tonight. So let's bring on 419. You're next. You've been waiting the longest. I do have a clock next to your number. It says when you press 1. So let's go with 419. Go ahead.
Would that be me, Joe?
Yes, that's you.
How you doing tonight? Good to hear from you. That good intro. Very good. I like that tune you was playing, too, earlier this evening. Get 'em, man. Still out here rooting for you. I'm still in your corner no matter which way the wind blows. I'm still in your corner. So keep me updated on the campaign and, let me know if I can help. We're all in this crap together, and we know it's going to get a whole lot worse before it gets better.
Yeah, but how could you be in that crap when you're a part of something that does not that's hurting the people? You know, that's giving misinformation and not helping them, and that's working against the people.
Oh, if you're talking about the law and whatnot and what's trying to be accomplished on Zoom, everybody has their avenue. And I figure that as long as everyone's attacking what's going on, then the better chance we have of weakening that beast anyway. So fight. Keep fighting.
Yeah, but everybody cannot fight at once. If you're fighting and it's a futile. You know how that Star Trek movie goes. Futile, resistance is futile.
Is useless.
Yeah. So, how can everyone just fight if they're not fighting for the right thing, and therefore they are just destroying each other, especially with the gossip there that I found on Zoom, where I sat there and listened to everybody in private rooms one night. They didn't know it. Talk so much crap about each. They talk crap about Barry. They talk crap about Joseph Gibson. And I'm sitting here, listening to this, and I'm like, oh, my goodness. Leroy, they talk crap about Leroy. You yourself even. How can you unite people when you're dividing people on a platform like that? How can you unite people?
People are going to be divided. It's always going to be a divisive world. But someone will come up with a solution, long as we keep plugging at it. Not going to find it if you don't set up there and argue with each other.
How many children have got to be kidnapped by CPS while the same people that are trying to help the people get their children back from CPS are talking smack about them in the background? I find that very and I'm not going to mention any names because I know there's some people on the line right now that were on there that have been on there, and I'm not going to do that to them. But I'll send the paperwork. I'll send the transcripts of the platform to them if they want. How are you going to befriend somebody and then and make up stories and make up cases that never happened and then laugh about it later? I just don't see how that could be. I just don't see how you're going to bring people together doing it that way.
Okay, I get that, but that's just like telling someone not to do something and then you go save them. Say that someone has a bad drinking problem. You take them home from the bar one night and they're extremely smashed. You take them home and you say, hey, you can't be doing this because it's bad for you. And they go right back out the next weekend and they do it again. And you take them home the next weekend. Just because you don't agree with someone's way of life or the way that they're approaching something, you still go out there and you pick them up, even though you disagree with their actions and methods. There also comes a time when you say that it's not helping anymore and you give it up. You give in on them. There comes a time for that also. But just because
this comes time to, Mark? It comes time to, you speak the truth, you tell the truth, you say what you mean what you say, and you back up what you say. You live by what you say. You mean what you say what you mean. Simple as that. And you know what? That's what the founders of this country started this whole thing about. But we don't live in a society like that anymore because it's all about us. It's about me, how I'm to feel good. And 614, you're next, by the way, because I just recognized that number. I want to bring that caller on. Mark, there is some freaking soul searching that needs to be done. And there are snitches on your network right now that have been gotten arrested, gotten in trouble, who are trying to entice people to commit a crime, to be arrested.
Well, you get that. You get that. You just got to be careful.
You get that. Well, yeah, but that's why I'm here, because I'm here to tell you like it is.
There's dangers in every movement. I know that there are people out there that would like to see me fail. So I wasn't planning on exactly winning, but I damn sure plan on making a lot of noise.
You know what? I'm going to tell, before I get to 614, I want to say something what I thought about you when I first met you, actually. You remind me of the guy when I was inside the joint. I was inside administrative segregation, lockdown. This is Northern Connecticut, okay? Summers, the prison. Northern is built, the Supermax, right behind Summers. So old Summers prison. That's where death row is, blah, blah, blah. And I was in the Supermax, okay? And I'm there, and I'm listening to everybody yelling, screaming, fighting, yelling. They beat on their cell door at night. You remind me of that guy standing there in his boxer shorts yelling at the COs every time they'd walk by. Whether or not I agree with you or not, and sometimes I want to say, shut your stupid, damn, rankety ass up. And, and stuff like that. I would say, at the end of the day, when I woke up, I say, damn, At least he told his sons of bitches off. That's what I would say right there. I would say that, to be honest. But at the same time, I'd worry about you flipping on me to the freaking administration if I shanked up my cell partner next door during my 30 minutes worth of wreck. So that's how I'm trying to get to you. You understand what I'm saying?
I do understand that. Being a captive of segregation unjustly, I was in segregation for a long time, and they didn't understand why I didn't scream and shout and all of that. I found comfort in the solitude that was there, but then I can be peaceful anywhere. I've learned. It takes a fine art. They thought that I was, they kept coming by saying that only an animal can sit there caged up like that and not go crazy and just can't adapt to it. So they called me the animal. I'm like, no, it's August. This is 110 degrees outside, and hell, segregation is the only place that's freaking cool. So leave me alone and go about your business. I'm good. Just feed me and leave me the hell alone. So there's a method to my madness.
All right, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I will give you that respectfully right now. I will give you that. I will give you that. Okay? And I will respect that for what you just had to say. If you were actually, because you claim you were in segregation and whatnot, and that's fine, because everyone could look my name up, Gibson versus Woods, Gibson versus Brooks. It's on the internet. My case is there. Just look it up. I posted it 1,000 times. For God's sake, there's a book written about it. So I was there. I know, there's actual police reports in there, incident reports, whatnot. But I'll give you that since you say you were there, because I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot of people, and there's a lot of people out there that are going to be housed again, throughout the country that just don't know it yet. But Mark, I'm going to let you.
It's turned into one of the biggest money-making schemes on the planet. That's got to be crushed first. This is the prison industrial system. That's got to go. That's where the doggone deep state is making all of their money so they can do all the terrible things to us. They're taking it right out the tax base. And that's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Not yearly, like half of the year, billions of dollars. And
I agree with you. I agree with you, Mark, on that. I really do. I do. I'm going to leave you on the phone line, and you can interject as much as you want, because I know you and I are at a crossroads right now, and we're going to see how that plays out. But like I said,
I'm still behind you. I don't care how you feel. I'm still backing you. We can argue all fucking day.
No, you said that. You said that on here live on my show, so I can't deny that.
I'm still pushing for you. I'm a mute
I can't
myself.
deny
you
that.
Go ahead.
I can't deny what he just said right there, folks. If that's what, then believe me, I've called them every name in the book there from this side of the East Coast to the West Coast. So if he's going to be on my show and say that live on here on the platform here, I'll give him that. Yeah, I would say that's a down brother
Joe,
right there.
Joe, we real people. We don't hide nothing. We don't be wearing masks and say one thing one day and say something another day. Yeah, you done cuss me out, call me everything in the book. So what? I still respect you, and I'm still backing you. So yeah, go Joe, damn it. I'm behind you 100%.
So I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that. You're absolutely right. I'm going to bring on 614. Everybody, you press 1 time. If you press 1 3 times, you're going to hang up on yourself. So don't be stupid. Just call in and just be patient. Turn off the dumb phones for a minute. Don't worry about Facebook and listen to this podcast, okay? Because it's, like I said, we're going to be doing some very important podcasts here in the future. 614, I promised you're next. Go ahead, 614.
Yeah, the frustration that you're feeling is something that I've known with just about every group of people that I have gotten involved with over the years to try and do something with this country and help turn it around. Some of my initial attempts with like the Alan Keyes campaign I've talked to you about, and the 9/12 campaign from Glenn Beck and stuff like that. There were always people, first of all, who out of some ignorance or being naive, believe that their ideas are so superior that they have to override anything and everything that other people are doing, and they take that position so strongly that their personalities really end up becoming a cancer within the group. Their unwillingness to compromise and see other aspects of things that maybe they're missing or they're not seeing, or the missing pieces of information that they don't have, just refusing to see those things, a willful ignorance. And then in other cases, there are actual malicious subversives that come in and try to redirect and misdirect everything. Seen plenty of that. Seen the Republican Party infiltrate the Alan Keyes campaign, and he was starting his own party. That whole thing is completely swung around and been re-enveloped in the Republican Party with people that we knew, or at least some of us knew, would do that. And we were ignored and eventually removed from that for what we perceived was subversive attempts. And what I did for 10 years after that was refuse to get involved in anything like that ever again, because of the very things you're talking about. There are folks that are running their own agendas, even if their agenda is ultimately to save this country. They would see no agenda but their own in order to get there to do it. They're not willing to find multiple avenues to the same ending or goal, because let's face it, I mean, there's plenty of things that we could be looking at and trying to reestablish the constitutional republic that this nation was originally, or this union of nations was supposed to be. He talked about, Mark just talked about destroying the prison industrial complex, and I agree with him. We also need to destroy the military-industrial complex. We need to destroy the corporation monopolies that are building and the corporation funding of all these alphabet soup agencies that are built out of bureaucracy by legislation and administration that are all operating not in the will of the people but in the will of big money and international interests and all of this stuff. There's any number of things that we need to be attacking, and each individual has a motive to attack a specific portion of the corruption or the evil that we face. But we can't all imagine that our cause or our perspective is the only perspective that needs to be seen. And I think that's where we get lost in these things more than anything, is when we absolutely refuse to negotiate or understand that another person may have exactly the same goals from a different perspective for different reasons. That doesn't make it any less legitimate, but it does add up to. And you talked about the CPS system. The CPS is another part of this, stealing children. That is absolutely imperative that we stop that. That is another symptom of a larger problem. And this larger problem is what we need to be focused on uniting behind. We can all unite. There is enough of us to attack all of these things at its root. The root corruption of this, the root that we didn't give any consent for our government to build the military-industrial complex that is enslaving the rest of the world under globalism. We didn't give consent for the prison military complex that has led to the police state and the policy enforcers that are now pirating our roads and abducting us from the streets and putting us in this complex for profit. We didn't consent to the multitudes of statutes and codes that are unable to comply with if you knew them all, because no one person, including a law enforcer, has any idea what all of those laws are or even how they could or should be interpreted, because the vast majority of them are unlawful anyway. And all of these things we can unite under if we would let go of our personal crusades and our personal agendas and realize.
But what do you do, brother, when you got a John Son out there, okay, that and then you get the host of another platform, and I'm calling her out right now, Sarah, that's freaking all over as you know what. You know, yeah. Even though me, who supported the Zoom network that I'm talking about right now, or I'm just saying this because John Son's all over. He's been on this show. That's why I bring him up. The guy's a freaking scumbag. He's enticing people to freaking commit crimes and there's no rational reasoning with somebody like that. I'm using him as an example. I'm putting his name out there as an example. And I don't care, Jamie, if he said he protect your kids and save your kids, if he came up there, blah, blah, blah. John said he protect. Did he? No, he didn't. If you don't do something, then that doesn't mean he said he would. Okay? It doesn't matter. Because he says he would doesn't mean he did. Simple as that. So John Son is nothing but a phony patriot, a fake freaking dummy check collector in a room in Mississippi that has done nothing at all, but yet try to entice people to commit a crime. I'm using him as an example. Just him as an example, my brother. Go ahead.
Yes. So I don't know what it is about the name John, because my Uncle John Parsley was probably the biggest scumbag that didn't understand family, he was an exploiter supreme of other people. Other people only existed for his pleasure. Then there was a guy, John Smith, that I had the pleasure of meeting a few months ago, who was a 3% militia guy that was so bent on getting out and shooting people in the streets that I couldn't get him to stop talking about it. And at the end of the day, I ended up getting into a shouting match with him because he was talking about how great his patches were going to look when the shooting started. And just so people like that, I think those people always going to exist. I mean, it's a extreme level of ignorance to believe something like Second Amendment, the way it's supposed to be done. We're all going to grab our guns and we're all going to go down and we're all going to arrest people. Well, if it was that simple, it would have already been done. And secondly, you're right. They're asking to commit crimes, and a bunch of people would get killed if they followed it. But you and I both know that the man's never going to gather more than 5 people, even though he says he's going to get 10% of the population of the United States. Which, by the way, John, if you're listening, that's 96 million people. 96 million people aren't going to go to their state houses with their guns and arrest anybody on November 2nd. That's not going to happen, and it's ridiculous of an idea to think that something like that would happen. But that being said, John does have one thing correct, in that this government, as it stands, is utterly corrupt, and it needs to be taken down and restored back to what it was meant to be, which was a government that protects the rights of people. They take an oath to protect those rights. And whether we go about that, listening to the ramblings of a guy saying, go take to the streets with your guns and I don't know how that's supposed to play out, if you're supposed to surround the government officials and wait for the SWAT teams to come out and mow you down. I don't know how that's supposed to work out, because that's the way it's going to. It's the best thing that we can do. We have to go through the lawful, not the legal, because right now everything that's legal is not necessarily lawful. Murder is legal in the United States, even though it's not lawful. We have several forms of that. Police can murder in the streets and call it officer safety. Hospitals can murder and call it abortion. There's those things are legal, but they're not lawful. So within what we know is our rights and what is lawful, we can, within those, and come together and bring about lawful government again. But we have to turn aside the personal agendas. I suspect that behind John Sean is a personal agenda that drives that. It's a very deep personal agenda, and you can kind of tell that with the intensity he projects his supposed solution. And I get that with a lot of people. Even Mark and I had a falling, me and Mark Johnson, we had a falling out the other day on the phone. I ended up hanging up on him. But he believes wholeheartedly in the same thing that I believe in as far as getting things done. We don't believe on the avenue of that. And there's something that drives him to wholeheartedly, very passionately believe that certain people or certain ways or certain directions are the way to get it done. And some of those things I don't agree with. I don't get into shouting matches over these things because I think that's an absolute waste of time. I try to see some truth in what people present, if there is any truth to be presented in that, and I can take a little bit of truth from just about anyone, even if they are utterly deceived. And those are the bits and pieces that everyone needs to really start trying to do. There's a little bit of truth, almost always a little bit of truth to be found in even the most hard-headed and seemingly unnegotiable people that we find.
Yeah. Brother, I want to reserve your rights to the closing thoughts because you said the most common thing that I think I could probably wrap up the show with. I've got a bunch of other people on here. They want to make a comment, I don't know if they're going to agree with the narrative that we're bringing here forward. But 336, go ahead. You're from North Carolina, my state. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I agree with the narrative out here, and I recognize the voice, exactly what he's saying. I couldn't have said it better if I spent all night trying to write it down. But when you join in these rooms, and a certain one or two people the past night or two, I don't know if they're just jealous or what, but for no reason they just come up and go tell you to suck this and tell you have no M&F and right being in the room, you shouldn't be in there, and no one wants to hear what you effing got to say. That's a good way to get something, push your, to get an understanding started and to work towards the common goals by, insulting them and just to keep attacking them for no reason, So that's not the way to do it. Like he just said, I don't have the same viewpoints as a lot of people do. Does that make me any right or any longer than you? No, that's what makes us people. And if people can't get over that, then maybe they shouldn't be on the internet socializing with other people. So I mean, that's about how I feel about it. I wasn't gonna get out and say something rude and just not beneficial towards the conversation. But after hearing him, I decided no, I'll just use it in a third party sense. Won't mention no names or anything else like that. So.
Well, thank you. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna put it out there. You were pretty hot, and wanted to sound off. So, but you know what? Reasoning came. This is what we're talking about. Reasoning can come about to people that can see common sense, and obviously you see common sense. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, and real quick, everybody likes a little confrontation. Everybody likes a little confrontation now and then, get a little excited and stuff like that. But to bring confrontation up to people that aren't asking for it, they're just sitting there, then you become an instigator, and nobody wants an instigator.
Well, in the Patriot movement, this is the problem that I brought up to many people already so many times. And 302, I'm going to get to you, 302. 302, you're next. And then 812, oh, Lord, let's see here. I know there's one there, another one here. 432, I see you, don't worry. And 302 also you. I'm going to get to you here. We got plenty of time here left. Everybody thinks they're right. And this could divide us, and this is what they want so bad to do. And they're doing a damn good job of it, aren't they? We're watching it happen right before our very eyes, right here. Even on this show, we're watching it, So 302, go ahead. This is the first 302. Hang on. Go ahead. Go ahead. 302, you've been waiting the longest. Go ahead. Last four numbers, 0405. I may be having trouble connecting some people. I got so many people on the line right now. They just all jammed in like 50 just popped up on my screen here. I don't know what's going on. 302, can you hear me? I don't know if he can or he can't, he or she. I don't know. My phone lines are jammed right now. I don't know what's going on, so they're jammed. Oh, let's see here. Where are you? 302. Hang on. Let me do this. Put you in a private screening room and then reconnect you. See what happens. For some reason, 302, last four numbers of your call is 0405. For some reason, you're not able to get through. I don't know why, and I really want to take your call. So what I suggest you do, 302, is probably hang up and call back in because now you're jammed. I got you in a green room, and I got you part ways through calling in. So let me do this. Man, I haven't got too many callers on the line. Yep. Some say that's a good thing. I don't think it's a good thing because I really wanted to hear what this person had to say. 302, you're going to have to hang up and call back in. So I'm sorry. I apologize. There's just too many callers. Too many callers on the line right now. Let's get to let's go to 432. And then the other 302, and you know who you are, 133. You know who you are. But let's go to 432. 432. Go ahead.
Hello there, Mr. Gibson. How you doing?
Doing just fine.
Oh, doing just fine. Okay. I agree with everything you're saying. What happens is these people have a mind like. Have you ever heard of the saying of crabs inside a bucket? And when the crab is trying to get out of the bucket, the other crab brings it back. So it's a lot of people that don't want to see you succeed, and don't want to see other people succeed, and they want to see them in their own situation. And I got to say up to you, man, I hope you win, and God bless you, man.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Well, that's a good call right there. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I really do. 432. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that. I'm going to go back to 302, but thank you. That was a good call right there. I'm going to mute that call. Press 1 twice if you want to come back on. But, hey, I got a little boast of confidence. I'm expecting all criticism here tonight. So, all right, 302. I'm gonna try reconnecting you right now. Go ahead. There you go.
Hey,
I got you now.
how you doing?
I know you're there.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. You're live.
Hey, so what's the topic, man? I'm sorry. I just I got up.
The topic, brother. The topic, brother, is this. Brother, the topic is this: we're sick and tired of people out there in our networks, in our individual space, that are destroying our patriot movement, what we're trying to do to take back our republic. And you know who I'm talking about because I know who this is. Okay, I'm not going to say your name unless you want to say it. We got the John Sons out there. We got these other platforms out there that are being exhumed by the other nonsense out there, and it's taken away from the fight that I'm out there freaking meeting with people every single day, been a part of this patriot movement since 1991, okay? I've seen so many people go to federal prison. I've been to prison myself. You've been there yourself, okay? And we're sick and tired of it, and we're not going to put up with it no more. That's the topic.
Well, I got a lot to say about that there. Unfortunately, in dealing with a lot of different personalities, there's always going to be a lot of division. And what has to happen is everybody has to feel it personally before they end up getting involved. And that's not exactly happening to everybody. Even though they are being affected, they're not exactly aware of it. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
And unfortunately, it's going to take a little bit more time for everybody to realize just how fucked they really are, you know? And I think that the election fiasco, fondling Joe, all of a sudden he's a superstar, you know what I mean? Fondling Joe Biden, the guy that fondles young ladies and women on camera, that guy. He's all of a sudden a sensation, you know what I mean? Come on, man. If everybody can't see it in that right there, I don't know, what more you need. You know what I mean? You there?
Yeah. No, no. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah,
you're absolutely correct.
Good old boy politics. You know, here we go. You know, we're getting ready to see some funny shit. And in seeing some funny shit, the American people are going to see, hey, man, this voting thing, it's all rigged anyway. You know what I mean? I mean, let's be brutally honest. Bloomberg never had a shot. You know what I mean? And had him in there in the first place. You know what I mean? You know, who's his running mate going to be? You know what I mean? This could get hilarious. What if he goes funky on him and says, well, I'm going to run with Obama? You know what I mean? Now, what if they win? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, listen.
Yeah.
Here's the funny part. I hope they fucking do, because my people are going to come out of the motherfucking woodwork with machine guns and fucking ready to rock the fuck out with their cocks out. I do. Because there's a lot of people sucking the Trump. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck for any of them. I want to hang every one of them. Every fucking one of them. People say, oh, well, Trump's doing so much for the economy. Yeah, Trump's driving us more further in debt. He went out to meet the Pope, which means that he bowed and kissed the ring. Okay? I don't give a fuck for any of them.
He bowed and kissed the ring. I'm glad you said that. I am so glad you said that. He bowed and kissed the ring. Yep.
Yeah, listen. My feeling on the matter, I don't fuck with child molesters. And it's more than most likely this guy's fondling fucking kids up just like Joe. You know what I mean? The Pope. And I mean, I'm not down for that shit, bro. So I can't support these fools. I wouldn't go meet them. I wouldn't hang it. First of all, I don't fuck with child molesters, period. You know what I mean? I hang them. That's my feeling on the matter. You know what I mean? String them sons of bitches up. They're not productive for anything. They're not going to help you with anything. Get rid of them. You know what I mean? And when you go out to meet, you know, a pedophilian-ass motherfucker, somebody who runs an organization that fondles as many kids as the Catholic Church, you know, you're like the leader of fondalization. You know what I mean? I'm not with that shit. So I wouldn't fuck with you. I wouldn't come out with you.
But the main question is, brother, the main question that I'm proposing here, not to interrupt you with all due respect, is what do we do with the sideliners out there, the people out there that are going with these fondling people? What do we do?
Throw them in the woodpile with them. Listen, you know, I got sent a really awesome sermon. I'm going to forward it to you tonight when I get off here. You know, this sermon was about the Jezebel spirit, and you got to check this sermon out, bro. It's worth looking into. You know what I mean? You know,
I already like the name of it. I could already tell.
Yeah, well,
I like the name of it.
When King Ahab married Jezebel, and he brought idolatry and pagan worship to the Christian kingdom. You know, hold on one second, man. I'm driving truck and shit. You know how that goes. You know, there was a lot of things that went on. There was, you know, the corruption inside the governing body. You know, the queen, she's crazy as shit and down for idol worship. You know, there's all kinds of stuff that goes along with it. The diminishment of society comes with it. You know what I mean? Fornication, you know, all the sins that you know you're supposed to stay away from came with it. Well, when Elijah had prophesied the way that he did on the mount there, and the pagan priests were consumed with fire, you know, it's a powerful, man. You got to check this out, the way that the dude preaches it.
I want to check
hell of
it
a
out.
job.
I want to check it out. You know what? I want to conversate with you actually in private and then do a show about that actually, because these are the very things that I've been talking about, and there's ways to bring the message across. And this is what I'm trying to do right now is the people out there, the message is being brought across, but we have so many different people out there, brother, that are on the sidelines sitting with their asses on the fence with the freaking the fence post sitting up their ass and ain't jumping from one side to the other.
Yeah, they're going to be there.
They're going to be
they're
there.
Not,
yeah, they're going to be there.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah, they're going to be there.
Yeah, they're not going to stop. That's not going to stop. Those people are, and there's going to be people that sit the sidelines while motherfuckers are fighting in their fucking yards, bro. Like, that's going to happen. There's going to be people that are going to stick their heads in the sand and go, oh, nothing's really going on, until their house gets blown.
That's when you slap that girl in the mouth. No, brother, that's when you slap that girl in the mouth, okay? Because you know what? That girl that was talking about, oh, my God, what's going on? You know what? You slap them in the mouth. What, do you think the water was always going to come out of the faucet? Well, we've been telling you for years this crap's going to happen. You can go back to Ruby Ridge.
Right.
You can go back even before that. You can go to Waco. You can go wherever you want. You can go to 9/11. I don't care where you go. The thing of it is, brother, is that it's time for people to stop talking the freaking game, and it's time to start stepping up to the plate and getting out there, doing your thing. Now, are you? Yes. Am I? Yes. Are others out there not doing what they're supposed to be doing? Yes. And those are the people I'm pointing my finger at tonight.
Well, yeah, and they're going to stay doing what they do. They're part of the situation as it is anyway. So, I mean, it doesn't take a majority, though, Joe. It takes an angry, unruly, willing few to get shit done. And that's going to happen. There's no way around it. No way around it. When,
See, I always have problems looking at those logistics. I've had people tell me for years, Joe, knock it off. This is what you're going to have. See, I just don't accept that. I don't accept that.
It's not a matter. It's not a matter. No, it's not a matter of knock it off. It's not. I mean, keep doing what you're doing by all means. Don't stop. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of, them people are going to do that shit anyway, bro. There's no, you can't make, people who are unwilling to do anything for themselves do something for themselves anyway. You're not going to, that's like trying to manipulate. I wouldn't want to if I could. If I could tell people and make people do what I wanted them to do, I wouldn't do it, because that's manipulating free will. I don't want to shove them into a situation where they're going to end up fucked anyway. This thing.
No, brother, but you know what? You know what I am, brother? You know what I am? I'm that guy like Jimmy Hoffa. Brothers, let's go.
Right.
They want to do this. Let's go. Rise up. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's fight.
I dig that.
I mean, that's
I
just
dig
how I am.
that. I'm with it. I'm all the way for it. I support fucking taking to the streets, hanging sons of bitches, all that good shit. You know what I mean? I'm down. The thing of it is when the rest of them pick up, the rebel rousers, as they call us, because, I wear a bad label, man. Oh, come on, Hold on, Joe. I got a detour. You know what I mean?
All right, I hear you. I hear you. Yeah.
You know
I know,
how
you're
that
on the
shit
road.
is
I
in
know.
Jersey. Well,
Yeah,
listen, I mean, in Jersey, a detour could be a funny thing in Jersey. You know what I mean?
Well, you're not allowed to pump your own gas in Jersey. We know that.
No, you can't pump your own gas. Well, it's not very well thought out here in Jersey, man. I mean, these fools got south and two different directions. You know what I mean? One pointing this way, one pointing that way. I'm trying to go north. They don't have no sign for that. I'm probably gonna have to get off here. I'm always working, man. That's what makes me hard to pin down anymore. And I've been really pissy here lately, man.
I know. Well, that's why you and I need to talk. Probably that's probably what it's been building up to. But you remain on the line as long as you can. I want to bring Chad on. Okay, Chad 812. I know you know who Chad is, so let me bring him on. Okay. Go ahead. Thanks, brother. Thanks. Keep driving. Be safe out there on the road. The unsafe roads out there of the dumbass roads of the transportation department. Yes, 812. Go ahead, Chad.
Hey, good evening, Joe.
Hey, how you doing, brother?
Doing all right. So, I listen to a lot of this and, just kind of taking it in and what everybody has to say. And I think we can all agree that there have been a lot of balls dropped. There's nobody really picking up and taking off with it. I think what we need to do is, and this is the.
Hang on, let me get rid of that background noise for you. Hang on, let me get rid of that background noise for you. Sorry, I think I know who that is, so that's okay. But it's not his fault. I know what he's doing. So go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
So excuse me. Sorry, a little stopped up tonight. But I think what we need to do is, we need to step back and we need to take a look, kind of reinvent the wheel, so to speak. We've tried every angle with the current ideals that we have. So it's time for a fresh, new approach, a new look at things, a new attitude about things with the militia and in regards to state assemblies and things of that nature. And one thing that Adam can probably, tell you about a lot more than I can is, we need everybody to start working in their states. We need people to start focusing on their states because everybody's trying to focus on this big picture of, Congress and the Senate and the White House and the federal side of things. But without taking care of your state first, you can do jack shit with the federal. Because Ed Adam will vouch for this 1,000 times over. The Supreme Court has already ruled that while you can make a complaint against the government has no obligation to hear your complaint. So,
but brother, what do we do with the naysayers out there that are dividing us? Yeah, the naysayers and the provocateurs that are dividing us. What do we do about them? That's one of the things that I pointed on specifically here tonight. And my friend there, the truck driver there that was just on the air, he said, you're always going to have those people out there.
Knowing very well.
But at the same time, what do we do with these people?
Well, see, that's not to, say anything ill of the previous caller or anything. That's a tough situation because throughout history, you've always had naysayers. You always. There's never been a time in history there hasn't been a naysayer when it comes to some type of ideal, revolution, or policy of any kind. But what you do with the naysayers is you take what they say and you let it go in one ear and out the other because what they say just quite frankly doesn't fucking matter. They're going to try everything they can. They're going to do whatever they can to hinder you, impede you in any way, shape, or form. The Sean Johns out there, the John Smiths, as Adam was talking about, there's always that kind of person. Benedict Arnold, who is, our nation's first big naysayer.
Traitor. First big traitor. Yeah. Okay. You're right.
And that's what I call those types. They're Benedict Arnolds. Now, do I say that everything within our government is bad? No. Not everything our government has is bad. They are a failed, broken system full of bad ideas, bad policies, and bad laws. Because they've been polluted with career politicians with nothing but lobbyists and special interests. And with that, you're always going to have the naysayers on their side. You're always going to have those people that are trying to destroy the Patriot movement and do anything they can to subvert our actions.
And that's why it's so important, brother, for me to just tell you this. My next show, actually, that I'm going to be doing, I'm bringing the leaders across America that I've known since 1990, the mid-'80s, that they're going to come on here. And these are people that are very well informed. I'm talking about people in the military also. They're going to be on here on the next show. We're going to do a round table. I'm bringing about 8 of them on, actually. And they're going to introduce themselves, who they are. And I'm going to have them on here. And that's going to be a very big show that I'm going to do. And they're going to tell you what's going on and what we should do in our own individual, like you said, aspects of our own individual communities, like you said, state thing, how we need to do what we need to do to fix things and to move forward. Because right now we're losing. We're losing right now. And if the people out there don't take heed to that message, that's fine. Because we'll just do what we got to do by ourselves and forget the rest of you.
It comes back, Joe. It comes back to what I was saying the other night about, standing alone will get you nowhere. Standing in a pack will get you further. And the one thing that we're seeing is this: I'm prepared to do something, but I'm not going to do
it. Yeah, you got that right. I saw that in 1991.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, in the wake of Ruby Ridge and Waco and things of that nature, you take, for instance, the Bundy Ranch issue. Okay, that everybody calls it a battle. A lot of people call it a battle. That wasn't really a battle. Everybody thinks the militia pushed the BLM out. That would have been a slaughter. There wasn't just a handful of agents on site there. There was, a lot of them in waiting. And when you think about instances like that,
they were in a 155-mile radius of ready to attack. Yes, I agree with you 100%. Because guess what? We were a little bit farther than that, by the way. But I'm not going to go there.
Yeah, well,
I'm not going to go there. But yeah,
you take those instances and things like that. If you don't keep your cool, you don't keep level-headed when it comes to situations, you will make the case every time for the man. When you go off half-cocked and you make a statement or you have some kind of action that is deemed aggressive, you make the case of why their point is valid and legitimate when it comes to you and your movement, i.e. the Patriot movement. And then the naysayers play a big part in that. The naysayers are the people in the ears of the Patriots telling them it's never going to work, telling them they can't do this. People like Sean John, Mr. Big Mouth himself. And you have.
But the thing is, brother, when you see the network that you're hosting and that you're connected with, like I brought up the Zoom network here, and we've had so many people on there, yourself even. But when you see them even turn on you and attack you, and then take the sides of these scumbags out there, and I'm going to call him that. That's just what he is until he turns around and changes his paradigm way of thinking, because all he's trying to do is hurt people and make us lose because it's not the right way. When they take the side of those people, I get angry and upset because I'm seeing the same freaking thing happen back in the 1990s again.
Oh yeah. When Waco and Ruby Ridge and stuff, came about and it gave rise to the modern militia movement. The movement that it gave rise to was a different movement than what we had always remembered from before. Militia wasn't a talked about thing before that. It had died out from the 1960s and 70s. And
Yep.
When the movement came back, it kind of came back in a bad shadow. It came back with an extremist outlook, which I won't deny that there are a lot of extremist groups out there. I won't deny that there are a lot of groups that are anti-government. There's a lot of conspiracy. Well,
I covered one, well, brother. I covered one tonight that I know personal friends of mine that have joined the NSM. They were up in Charlottesville in 2018. They're the I know these guys. You know, the NSM. They were up there marching, and you get into the racial divide thing and stuff like that. And you know, so yeah, I mean that's not what we're about actually. And 302, I do see you, 302. Don't worry, you'll get on here, okay? You'll get on here, 302. Go ahead, brother.
You take, you know, certain militias who have joined forces with Antifa now. You know, I mean, that in itself is cause for alarm because, you know, Antifa is an anarchist group. You know, Antifa is, you know, to me, Antifa is just the little, you know, stepbrother to the, you know, to the Nazi movement. You know, I mean, you can't say you stand for whites, you know, stand against, you know, fascists and white supremacists when you're a fascist yourself.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But while I got you on here, before I bring on the next caller, who's going to bring on a different type of agenda, I know that's what he's going to bring, but I promised he'd get a voice. Tell us.
Yeah.
How do we, and this is the solution that we're going to offer here when I bring my friends on from so many years, so many freaking ways of service and people that I know throughout the years on the next podcast. What's your answer to uniting the people, even though we can't unite everybody as one, but what can the common goal we can do to bring some sort of logical solution to tomorrow for our children, our grandchildren to look forward to? Because as the things are going right now, it just doesn't look good. We can all freaking agree on that. It just doesn't look good.
Well, it's hard to say because this day and age, people aren't willing to come to compromise or an agreement. They're not willing to, you know, let some of their own interests go for the good of the greater cause. It's just not something that can, you know, is going to happen. You know, the greatest story about you know, brotherhood, you know, and humanity comes from World War I in the trenches in France. You know, when German soldiers and American soldiers broke for Christmas Day to share their brotherhood. And, you know, that to me is probably one of the greatest signs of humanity. But the sad part is those days are long past. That generation of mutual respect for each other, you know, is over. You know, the time of politics and division has overshadowed our humanity. And there's not really, you know, unless you wipe out an entire side, there's not really anything you're going to be able to do about it.
And that's not going to happen because we're so mixed as a people, worldly and globally right now. So therefore, their new world order is so at their grasp. That's why I'm so afraid and I'm lashing out at everybody. But brother, Stan, I want to bring on the next caller here. He's going to bring on a different perspective. I know you've spoken to him before because on the other networks, I know who this is that I'm speaking to now. I'm going to bring him on. I'm going to give him like 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. We've got plenty of time left. We've got 40 minutes left on the podcast. So press number 1 if you want to come on here. I'm going to give everyone 5 minutes to wrap up the show here tonight because it's so very important that we do that, especially with the mistrust out there that we're facing today with the social media. So 302, go ahead. I'm going to give you 4 minutes. Go ahead, 4 minutes. The floor is yours.
Let me say this. I don't know you, nor do I know anyone on social media. But here's what I do know. That the most scrutinized, the most criticized, the most lied upon individual that I've recalled is myself. Yet, I don't have to skin. I've achieved more with cases, case after case after case, on behalf of the national democratic rights of the people, and I will continue to do so. Because my assignment is to bring 11 million to turn it into 100 million, to destroy what this nation stands for, and I'm going to be successful. I know that. But where I'm
so hang on, because I got three emails. I got 3 emails in your network. Hang on, I got 3 emails from within your own network on your Facebook page. Actually, they said so therefore you're disagreeing with the way America was founded, and you want to destroy it and start something new. That's what one of the emails said. I'm not going to read the other 2 because they're talking nonsense. But this is from your own private network that you have that we're friends with. That's what this person said. So can you answer that question?
Well, once again, you're a good Christian because you said you're going to give me 3 or 4 minutes, and then you stop me in 10 seconds. But that's usual. That's typical. To try to divert me.
It's programming. It's the show, brother. Come on. Go ahead. Answer the question,
away from. I'm not going to answer the question because you lied to me. You just stopped me from my 3 minutes to try to divert me away from where I was going. So if you want to cut me, block me, or stop me.
All right, well, take your 4 minutes.
All right,
I'll tell you what. I'll give you 5 more minutes. Just answer that one question. You believe that America should be start out from something new, and destroy it, and start from something new. So, but go ahead. I'll give you 5 more minutes. Go ahead.
Absolutely. And I have all the testimony and the proof to make it visual as a legal tender in the people's court, the common law court, which is the supreme law of this land. And that is coming from the committee of one on behalf of the committee of the whole. I'm one person. And here's what I know. I'm putting out so much powerful information and bringing people together in all sectors of this nation that I don't give a damn who calls me whatever name you want to call me. It don't matter to me because I know that you're only an individual. You, anybody on Zoom or what have you. Well, we don't want to hear what you got to say. That's okay. I know that there's just a few little rascals in your own little circle of the selective amnesia where you really want to keep things just as they are. And then you want to have your Second Amendment. You want to pick up your guns. You want to, what is intended, or, we don't want to let the tyrants or whatever take away our rights to bear arms. Now, if I look at those who got the militia, the old Black Panthers, new Black Panthers, I don't see you preparing to arrest the government. Of course not. As a matter of fact, you're doing everything you can to make sure that never happens. But guess what? It's going to happen with or without your ass. How do I know it's going to happen? Because I'm on my biggest assignment ever, and that is to bring freedom, justice, and total independence to the bloodless revolution. And revolution is not all black, but it's not all men. That's why the matriarch, slowly but gradually surrounding not only this nation, but the rest of the world because of the atrocities.
Okay, all right. So that matriarch, though, that matriarch that you're talking about, I just sent you a message, actually, because we got a bunch of people here that are listening now, and they want to learn about this thing. But you're saying the Constitution, the militias are wrong. Restoring the Constitution, bringing back the Republic is not the proper way to go because it's been tried before. And you know what? Then they should agree. Then therefore they got to agree with John Son because John Son says it's been tried before, and we should never do it again, and we should just go a different way and create anarchy.
No, I'm not saying nothing of what you or John are saying. So don't try to couch it all in what you got. What you got is a Masonic order of the patriarchs. And any law, it's not law, it's legal. This is rule without regard for law. There is no piece of paper that is worth its weight in salt that brings about freedom, justice, and total independence. How do I know? Because y'all are nationalists under jingoism. You care about our country, and no place else. God bless America and no place else. That's really your political, spiritual, ideological view. How do I know it? Because the constitutions of the other nations are under the most vicious attack as we live right now. And it's under the most vicious attack by those with the Confederate flag and the red, white, and blue. How do I know it? Look who's on their aircraft carriers, stealth bombers, submarines, tanks, Black Hawk helicopters. Look who's on them. Black and white people are just destroying other nations' sovereignty, integrity, dignity, independence. Then you act like I'm the bad guy. But here's where you're going to learn today. Very soon, there's going to be a lockdown of the people in this country. And remember I told you this first. China is the world leader in the world economy in the political economics. Your mothers and fathers and grandfathers fought in the war in Korea, Japan, Taiwan, and China leads the Asian Economic Pacific Corporation. But isn't it ironic that from the FCC, radio and TV, all of a sudden we got this boogeyman virus, and pretty soon the lockdown of the ports, the lockdown of the production and trade of the trucks and what have you, they're going to be restricted. And that means that water, food, and the sustenance that people need, they won't be available to them. Then we got a real crisis because we know that whatever y'all got planned, what you're doing with this thing, even though we know it's a germ biological chemical warfare, is trying to create a civil war, and it's also trying to create a world war where nobody's going to win. So just know this, the spring onto the summer, watch how high food, gas, clothing, everything costs. Then when you start going to Walmart and you see that there's nothing there, there's a reason why there's nothing there. Because of the tariffs and the restrictions on Chinese goods when you know that China has already taken over the world economy and the threat that Russia in the north of Africa and China in the south of Africa is checking white power as it relates to colonialism. China is already checkmated white power, and now you try to come up with this boogeyman shit where now you tell people don't
Well,
go
okay, I'll agree with that.
Right?
I will agree with that about China. You're absolutely right. That China does control the majority of it controls actually what I think it's 74% of all goods that are purchased or a part of goods. Whether it controls all the car batteries or not, I don't know. I'm pointing that out there to people because I made a statement saying car batteries are no longer made in America; they're made in China. But okay, our majority of the parts made in, of the car battery made in China, yes. All right, there's some made in America, yes. So therefore, yes, the majority of the economy, world economy, like you just said, is controlled by China. Yes, that is true. So what do we do here in America?
That this vaccine, the forced vaccinations, well, we know SV40 is one of the secret ingredients in there that's a slow killer of its own people. These vaccinations are going to be attempted to be forced on the people because, look, y'all got to get these vaccinations because you're going to get this, what is it, swine flu, the pig flu, or the Ebola, or whatever the fuck that y'all keep coming up with. You keep telling us that we don't want to be vaccinated, and now you see the people are fighting against vaccinations, so you had to come up with a slick, clever way to force vaccinations, making the people think that they need
that's a good point. That's a good point. Hang on, Medelcon. That's a good point. I want to give you much time here. I'm going to give everyone their closing thoughts now to the podcast. Okay, everybody, because I have enough callers here that have remained here that are holding their hands up to give closing thoughts to the podcast. Okay, so everyone, I'm going to give you 5 minutes. 5 minutes, everybody, uninterrupted. Closing thoughts to tonight's podcast, and then we're going to carry on with the next podcast. And I told you I'm going to bring leadership from people that you really need to listen to, and they're going to tell you what's going on. And a lot of what he just said actually is true, believe it or not. So I'm glad he touched upon that. I don't know where he got that information from, but maybe in his rambling mind, he finally got the truth. I don't know, but we'll see. All right, 814, go ahead. You're going to get a few minutes. 814, go ahead. You're first.
Well, I wanted to agree with the guy that kept saying, you know what I mean, a lot. You brought a lot of good things to the platform, and I agree with what he said about raising up arms about the people that are against libertarians and just all for the government, because we need to overthrow the government. A a lot of things that people take for granted is our Second Amendment to begin with. And they take it for granted, and let me tell you why. Because I personally had my Second Amendment violated. You know, I had my Second Amendment violated when.
I know you have, sir. But I got to cut you off there, right there. I'm gonna, because time permitting, I got to. Mark 419. You've been hanging on here to the whole show. I want to give you 5 minutes here out of respect. So, Mark, go ahead.
Hey, I'm here. Yeah, one thing that the government hasn't considered is the times of all of this racial division is over. That's become a thing of the past, and what they feared has come to light. We are coming together, little bit by little bit, and the people have come together, and we're going to rise together some kind of day. Don't know if you're getting my transmission. There's a lot of
I'm getting you. There is a lot of background noise. I got a lot of background noise. What I'm going to do is, matter of fact, I'm going to close everybody up here, and while you speak, go ahead, and because this way everybody can get their final thoughts to the cast. I mean, we need to wake up here, and this is the bottom line. And there's a lot of people that did join in tonight that I did invite in, and I called them out. And I'm going to tell you right now, those are the people that I don't really trust right now. I don't trust them. I'm going to tell you that right now. I don't trust them. For why, I don't know, but maybe they'll explain it. I don't know. But at the same time, they've been here so many other shows when we were doing the little tit-for-tat shows, attacking these tiny little topics. But when we talk about such a big topic like this, fighting for our freedom, you remained in, so I'm going to give you the credit there. I have to tell the truth, and I always say what I mean and mean what I say. Everyone knows that about me. But go ahead. I'll give you a couple more minutes. Go ahead.
You know, like just like you and me, Joe, there's going to be a big rising of people like you and me that we hardly agree on anything. But, you know, I know that you got my back, and I damn sure got your back. Whether you want the help or not, I'm here for you. So that's the way that goes. And there's a lot more of us that are coming. And it's gonna have to be taken little by little, city by city, town by town, state by state. And the ones that's been there the longest, those are the ones in the Congress and whatnot that are just there for just to be seen and heard and have not been doing anything. The people that have been in Congress 40-something years and haven't done anything, it's time for them to go. It was a bad thing to be a career move, and they know it. And it's time for them to go. But, hey, I'm going to get out of here. And,
no, I want to say what you just said right there was actually pretty good, actually. You know, but at the same time, you know, brother, you know, be careful, because sometimes, you know, you can offend the closest to you. You got to be careful, and, you know, because you got a lot of support out there. A lot of people have supported you for the past few months, and, you know, when they hear certain things, they start to second guess. And, you know, and that goes with anybody. That goes through the friendship network. That goes with family. But at the same time, at least he came out on the air tonight, and he freaking put it down. I got to give him credit there. At least he freaking stuck up for himself, and he told the truth. You know, I mean, you can't deny that. It's a matter of records right here. So, Mark, at least you did do that. I will say that, you know, with much respect, I do appreciate you doing that at least. So thank you so much. Hopefully you listen to the rest of what everyone else has to say here at the final thoughts here. Very important. Adam, go ahead real quick.
Here, Joe. Take it away.
Well, all right. Go ahead, Adam. Go ahead.
So Chad brought up the scene from World War I where the Germans and the Allies stopped fighting and they came out of their trenches and they celebrated Christmas together in brotherhood, enemies that were previously shooting at each other the day before. And then the next breath he talked about the spirit of that is gone. Well, yes and no. those people were hardcore under orders by whatever deceptions or whatever they believed that the other side were the enemy and less than human or worth killing. They came out and realized in that one moment or in that one day that they were actually human, that they could actually respect each other in that moment for a specific cause. And those of us who understand what it is that we're facing, the kind of history that is about to repeat itself and the slavery that is coming down, how we are going to be cattle for the new masters and kings that are setting themselves over us. We understand those things. We don't all agree on the method by which to expose it. We don't all agree on the methods by which to end it. We don't even agree which is the worst symptom of the problem, but we do all understand that there's a problem. And when we get in the spirit of our humanity, which is what those men did in World War I, when we realize the spirit of our humanity unites us, that none of us desire to actually kill each other. None of us desire to be killed. Okay? None of us desire to be enslaved, and I would think the vast majority of us don't desire to enslave anyone. And that is regardless of anyone's past, anyone's racial history. You go back far enough in anyone's history, there's oppression and there's oppression. You were either the survivor of an oppression or the perpetrator of oppression, and that goes in everyone's history if you go back far enough. So let's get over the past, let's deal with the present, and deal with the fact that we are facing a crisis that affects all of humanity and all of us here in these states united. So let's unite. Let's do what needs to be done. Stop focusing on piddly crap, our personal agendas. Let's stop focusing on things that can't be accomplished. Everybody wants to go straight to the president and try to do the one-stop magic trick that'll restore the republic in a big fell swoop and some Hail Mary, and that's not going to happen. We have to do the grunt work. We have to do the groundwork. We have to take 1 foot at a time, step it takes to take our states back. The states are the power in this country. That's the direct representative of we the people are our states. And then the states can take it to the federal government and bring them back in line. But once we realize where the roots of all of our symptoms, all of our problems are, we recognize each other's humanity and we come out in the spirit of unity, that same spirit that caused those men to lay down their arms, then we will see the kind of revival, not just Christian revival, but a revival in common decency, a common community, and common respect. We will see those things happen again.
That's right. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I really do. Mandela County, before I get to you, I'm going to do 812 because I know you want to. I'm going to give you the most time here at the end. So 812, I know you got a lot to say. I know you probably want to get to other platforms because you're, involved in the movement and you're doing the best you can to try to freaking wake up this republic. So go ahead, 812. I'm going to unmute you. There you go. I think that's the one I want that's been on here. Go ahead, 812.
So listening to what Adam said, which Adam's a terrible person anyways, so
yeah, we can't stand that guy. He just tells the truth sometimes. That's all.
he's just a water boy. So
FUBAR.
Absolutely. So for all the people who may be current, active duty, serving military members, the one thing I want to reiterate to you guys, is when this fighting starts, and it will start, it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. When it starts, you have to look deep down inside yourself. You raised your right hand and you swore an oath to all enemies, foreign and domestic. But the problem is you have to look inside and think about who the enemy is, because when the fighting starts, you're not going to be fighting, just anybody. You're going to be fighting people that you may have stood next to on the battlefield in some distant land somewhere. And you have to realize what your oath really means to you. You have to interpret the oath for the way the creators, the founders, had written it. And in that context, I don't think they were really talking about, some militia group in a, wooded area somewhere in backwoods USA. I think that they were talking about the people that were placed in charge of you. And the one thing I want you to remember, when you're given an order to engage that guy down the street, remember that guy down the street was probably you before. And that guy knows your tactics. And that guy's probably a little more hardcore, and that guy's not bound by rules. So remember, when you take up arms against your people, remember your oath. Remember what you raised your right hand for.
Right. That's right. Can't deny that. Can't deny that at all. Amen to that, because it's going to happen to you, Can't deny that. That is for sure. But I'm going to wrap up the show a little bit early, but I'm going to give this gentleman here, everyone give him the respect. I mean, I'm going to give him 4 minutes here. Go ahead, say your piece there, brother. Go ahead, 302, and then I'm going to wrap up the show. I got a bunch of private callers. I'm not going to get to them. I'm not going to entertain anything that's going to ruin the show here unless I see recognized numbers. Just want you to know that, so you may as well just hang up. Go ahead, 302. Go ahead.
To all of the demented souls in this country, from the founding fathers to now, for saying that there's not going to be a great awakening, that masses of people are not going to do this, what you're saying is that if you've got anything to do with it, it's not going to happen. And to all those who say that we're going to pick up our weapons and do whatever it is that we think we're going to do, you're speaking out of the east end of a horse's ass. How do I know that? There are people who have atomic bombs, stealth bombers, and aircraft carriers, and they know that their asses are in serious, serious, serious trouble. They know that. They know that they can't threaten, jail, or kill everyone, so they have to use this fake out like there's some gun control, where I know that there's never been an American in control of weapons. They're the most out-of-control people on the planet. By using atomic bombs or what have you, whatever they produce, Americans will use them things, right? And then the common man wants to pick up his Glock, his Uzi, his AR-15, and what have you, and honestly, in his own demented mind, thinks he's going to shoot his way to power. What a goddamn jerk. That's why I hardly listen to my father, and I never listen to God. Why? Because I know that he don't have the whole world in his hands. And I know he's not Atlas, like the whole world on his shoulders. He is destroying Mother Nature, Mother Earth, the ecosystems, the air, the water we breathe. So I would never trust a man. Why would I trust a woman? Well, it's very simple. Figures don't lie, lies don't figure. It's a mathematical equation. Who is the proper administrators and authority to appropriate and allocate Mother Earth's precious resources? It's only the mothers, grandmothers, and great-grandmothers, because I am incapable. I'm not a leader. I don't want y'all to follow me to the goddamn corner. But I do want you to get out of your seat, on your feet, and into the streets for freedom, justice, and total independence. So here's the final formation of what's going to be.
Yeah, well, we see what the women do when they lay behind their man's back, though. When they lay behind the man's back, I mean, the woman is there to nurture the house and take care of the children. But the women out there, you can't say there was just more is justified than men in today's world. In today's world, how do you mathematically equate the men versus the women? How do you do that? And morally, I mean, how can you say women are more moral than men in today's society? That won't fly with the men. You know that. Come on.
Well, again, let me go on with my regularly scheduled programming to deprogram your ass and reprogram you with the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but it. There's a super majority, and that is the mothers, grandmothers, and great-grandmothers. You must organize because you are witnessing your families being destroyed right before your very eyes. You must organize the children who are the children of the corn. I'm Mandela Khan. I'm the Malachi. And children, don't kill the old folks. You don't have to kill them. Don't kill them. But you must work under the leadership of the matriarch. And the mothers, the children, the old folks, and the good men who will stand with them, they are the victors. And through the victory goes the spoils. And here's how I know it's going to happen. It ain't a damn thing that Uncle Scams can do or either of you. I'm one of the most popular men on the planet. But I don't bring myself to the table and try to big me up because no one is right.
That's right. But you know what? In a way, though, the women out there are really imprisoning the men. Most of the men out there are really in prison today. So therefore, the women are out there running around. You know. So we got to be careful. But I don't think the women is the answer. You know.